Jesus was a refugee. How can that be? What am I talking about? How can the Creator, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, be a refugee? Well, where I get that from is it's an account in Matthew of Jesus in his earthly life, shortly after he was born, sometime after he was born, where in the book of Matthew it says, Matthew chapter 2, verses 13 to 16, when they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, he said, take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, out of Egypt I called my son. When Herod realized he'd been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious and gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. So Herod felt threatened by this baby boy, um, um, Jesus, and ordered his troops to go in and kill every baby boy in the town of Bethlehem. Before they came, the angel of the Lord had appeared to Joseph in a dream and told him, take Mary, Jesus, and go to Egypt, flee. And that's what they did. So they didn't return until after Herod died. So that means Jesus Joseph took Jesus and Mary. They fled to Egypt to escape the government troops coming to kill. That's the experience of a refugee. Well, I've shared that with refugees. The one that really stands out in my mind is with Pastor Alexei. He's the pastor of the Ukrainian church I help on Sunday afternoons, and that really meant a lot to him. It really ministered to him. So when I think about Jesus having experienced the refugee experience when he was the first years of his earthly life, I think about what should my attitude be towards refugees. I think about one thing Mother Teresa said when she talked about ministering to the poorest of the poor in India. And she said that in their faces, she saw Jesus in his most distressing disguise. And I'm no Mother Teresa by far, but I feel like I understand a little bit of what she's getting at. As I've met with refugees, heard their stories of the trauma they've been through, escaping war, being targeted for genocide, losing everything, having to start over, family members being killed, family members dying, just their loss that they suffer. And then I try to show them the love of Jesus, try to show them God's love in practical ways. I feel like feel like a little bit of that in their faces, I see Jesus in his most distressing disguise. I also think about, would Jesus have a heart and place his heart for refugees, having experienced that himself during his earthly life? So what that means to me is, what should my attitude be towards refugees? What would Jesus want my attitude to be towards refugees? Now, I'm not talking about any policy or anything like that. I'm just talking about my attitude. What's the attitude in our heart? There are many ways to help. We can help with donating to organizations that help refugees, and one example would be Samaritan's Purse. But it's just more about, what's my heart attitude towards refugees when I see them? Do I want to take time to try to get to know them? Do I want to try to help them? My city, Lincoln, we have thousands and thousands of people who came here as refugees. Because of that, our public school system here has children from over 100 different languages. So what's my response? What's my heart for them? And so I hope is that I have compassion and a desire to help. Now, does that mean directly? Well, yes, I do, because I teach them. But there are other ways to help if not involved directly. I think about also, even from the Bible, a story like Ruth, who was faithful to her mother-in-law, Naomi, who was from Israel, and Ruth was a Moabite woman. And when Ruth's husband died, Naomi went back to Israel, hoping to be supported by her family there, and Ruth stayed with her. And Ruth was an outsider. She was a Moabite woman, but she ended up marrying a man named Boaz, and she ended up becoming the grandmother of the King David. And she's one of the few women who's mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus, along with Rahab the harlot, who was, along with her family, the only one spared to get out of Jericho. We don't know why she was a harlot. We don't know what happened in her life that forced her into that. I doubt that that was her choice originally, but she saw her chance to get away. And she also recognized there's something different about the God of the spies who came in, heard the stories of what God had done for Israel. So she wanted to get out, and she made a deal that she would hide the spies, help them stay safe and get out safely, and then told them, please take me and my family with you when the time comes. And so she was able to get out, and she's actually referred to in Hebrews chapter 11, which we call the Hall of Fame of Faith. She's actually mentioned this by faith that she did that she helped the spies and she got out. So those two women who are not of Israel, who are not Jews, they're mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus. That shows me that there's something special about that, that the love of Jesus is for all people. It's for everybody. It's for the whole world, for every culture, every language group, everything. So my heart attitude is kind of like more what I'm concerned with, that when I meet people from other countries, what's in my heart for them? And is it compassion? Is it understanding, trying to understand them? And those kind of things. Do I have a willingness to try to help them? That's what I think about. Now, when I share, though, about Jesus having been a refugee during his earthly life with refugees, it means something to them. I've spent a lot of time with Ukrainian friends this past few years who fled the war in Ukraine. When I share that with them, it really has an impact, like it did with my friend Alexei. Alexei's told me that every time I say that would like bless him, bless his heart. And so I just wanted to take a moment today and talk about how Jesus was a refugee. In Hebrews chapter 4, it says that he's our sympathetic high priest. It talks about how he's, in the book of Hebrews, how he's made complete through his suffering. Well, how does the perfect Son of God be made complete? Well, because he experienced this life, and all the hardships in different ways, that there are various different traumas we can go through, he became our sympathetic high priest, able to understand us. And because of that, we can come to him and his throne to find grace and mercy in our time of need. So those are just some thoughts about refugees that I have that I wanted to share. This is not about trying to change some policies, about the heart. It's about what is my heart, what is in my heart for refugees. And I hope that for everybody, it's compassion, desire to understand, and a desire to help. Those just a little thought. Thank you.